Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Today's story is Be Like Jesus. Oh, this is fun, Jeff exclaimed as Uncle Tom drove the Jeep up the winding mountain road. Jeff and Carol and Mother and Daddy had been invited to spend a week at Uncle Tom's logging camp. The children had never been there before. They were amazed at the sight of so many tall trees and so many pieces of machinery. "What is that?" Carol pointed to a huge machine near where Uncle Tom parked the Jeep beside a supply tent. "That is a loader," Uncle Tom explained. "It loads the big logs onto the trucks so that we can haul them to the sawmill where they are cut into lumber. Want to go over and look at it?" "Oh, yes," and the children raced away. Mother followed the children. As they came near the loader, a brown bird with a red breast flew up and away. "A robin," Mother said. "There must be a nest nearby." The children looked for the nest. Jeff saw it first, a grassy lump of mud in the folds of a cot that stood against the loader shed. "Let's see if there are eggs in it," Carol suggested. "Look, but don't touch," Mother warned. "Never put your hands in a bird's nest. The mother and father bird don't like that." The children nodded and went slowly forward. There were 4 pretty blue eggs in the nest. The children looked at them and then moved away so that the mother and father birds wouldn't be too much disturbed. That evening, Uncle Tom told Jeff and Carol that the logging company intended to move the loader to another part of the forest. "But the robin's nest," Carol exclaimed. "What will become of it? Will you have to take the shed?" Uncle Tom looked unhappy. "I'm afraid so." Then he patted the children's heads. "But don't worry, we will think of something." At worship time, the family sang their song, "Be Like Jesus." While they were singing, Jeff and Carol thought about the robins and knew that Jesus would want them to help the little birds. In their prayers, they asked him to show them how. The next day, a big rainstorm came and made the creek below the camp flow over its banks. The muddy water raced down the road, leaving big ditches all across it. Uncle Tom grinned as he watched it. "Your robins are safe for a while," he told the children. "We can't move a loader down that road now." That evening, when Carol and Jeff visited the robin's nest, the eggs were gone. In their place were 4 tiny heads poking upward for food. For several days, Uncle Tom and the men worked on the road. Then at last they were ready to move the loader, but the tiny robins weren't ready to fly yet. "What will we do?" Jeff asked. "Can't we build the robins a new nest?" Uncle Tom shook his head. "No, we aren't birds, so we can't build nests, but we might move one." "How?" questioned Jeff. "And where?" Carol wanted to know. Mother had been looking at a big branch the storm had broken from a nearby tree. "If this were nearer to the shed," she suggested. "It soon will be," said Uncle Tom, grasping the branch. Daddy and Carol and Jeff caught hold too. Soon the branch stood right up against the shed. "Are you going to take the nest from the cot?" Carol asked. Uncle Tom shook his head. "No, we can get along without that cot for a few days. We'll just move it into the shade of this branch and fix the branch so that the wind won't blow it down. Then we'll move the shed and see what Father and Mother Robin have to say." The robin parents had been fluttering over the shed. They seemed worried about what was happening, and their cries could be heard throughout the camp. But now, as everyone left, they quieted down. Soon they were feeding their babies as though they had always lived like this. How happy the children felt as they watched. "I'm glad we asked Jesus to help us care for the birds," Carol remarked. "I am too," Jeff added. Then he started humming one of his favorite songs. "Be like Jesus, this my song, in the home and in the throng. Be like Jesus all day long. I would be like Jesus."
The story you've heard today was first published as part of the Vacation Bible School program in the book God's World by the Review and Herald Publishing Association and the General Conference Sabbath School Department. If you are interested in any other products published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955. This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.